Every single night, millions of people sleep inside thin fabric tents pitched in national parks, dense forests, and deep wilderness. They set up camp right in the middle of grizzly bear territory, wolf country, and mountain lion ranges. They crawl into their sleeping bags, turn off their flashlights, close their eyes, and drift into complete unconsciousness. And almost none of them get eaten. On the surface, that sounds completely obvious to us. It's just what happens when you go camping. But if you strip away modern human comfort and look at this exact scenario through a purely biological lens, it makes absolutely zero sense. Imagine the scene from the perspective of the forest. You are a 180-pound bag of completely unprotected mammal meat. For 8 solid hours, you are entirely unconscious. You are lying flat on the cold ground, making predictable, rhythmic breathing noises, completely unable to see, hear, or react to danger. By every functional definition in the animal kingdom, a sleeping human is the absolute perfect prey. We have no armor, no sharp claws, no massive fangs, and no evolutionary speed to outrun a predator from a dead stop. And make no mistake, the predators know exactly where you are. They aren't missing you. A grizzly bear's sense of smell is roughly 7 times stronger than a bloodhound's. It can catch your scent from miles away. A wolf can easily hear your heartbeat through the quiet night air from a distance of over a mile in the right conditions. A mountain lion could be crouching on a rock ridge 30 feet from your tent flap right now, watching your silhouette against the canvas, and you would have absolutely no idea. They don't walk past your camp because they are blind or because the woods are empty. They walk past because they are actively choosing to leave you alone. The real question is, why does a hungry apex predator look at a defenseless, sleeping human and decide to turn around and walk away? The answer isn't that predators are peaceful or that they aren't hungry. It is a brutal, multi-generational secret written directly into the DNA of the wild. To understand why you aren't on the menu tonight, we first have to understand the brutal mathematics of predator psychology. In nature, predators are not built to be brave. They are hardwired to calculate risk versus reward. In the unforgiving wilderness, bravery is an evolutionary death sentence. A wolf that takes unnecessary risks gets kicked in the jaw by an elk and can no longer chew its food. A big cat that charges blindly into a situation it doesn't fully understand gets a minor puncture wound, gets infected, and dies a slow death. Every large carnivore alive today is the direct descendant of animals that were intensely, pathologically cautious. They only attack when the calculus of the hunt guarantees a quick, safe, predictable kill. Because of this deeply ingrained caution, humans trigger an immediate psychological red flag in an animal's brain. Put simply, we look, move, and behave completely wrong. Every natural prey animal on the planet has a highly predictable response to danger that predators have spent millions of years mastering. A deer freezes, a rabbit bolts, an antelope flashes its white tail and runs. Predators are masters at reading these specific kinetic triggers. The sudden flight of a prey animal activates what neurologically is known as the prey drive, an involuntary, instinctual switch in a predator's brain that commands it to chase and bite. But a sleeping human doesn't trigger that switch. You lie completely still inside a geometric box. Your breathing remains slow, heavy, and steady. You make absolutely no attempt to flee. You don't panic, and you don't project the biological signatures of a cornered, defensive animal. To a predator encountering a human, your utter lack of fear doesn't signal vulnerability. It signals something far more terrifying. It signals a trap. Biologists refer to this profound evolutionary reaction as neophobia, the intense, instinctive fear of the completely unfamiliar. In the wild, if a predator doesn't recognize a smell, a sound, or a shape, the smartest biological move is to treat it as a fatal threat, and humans trigger neophobia harder than anything else on Earth. We radiate bizarre, synthetic chemical smells from our deodorants, soaps, and nylon gear. We surround ourselves with the crackle of fire, the unnatural scent of cooked fats, and the harsh, unnatural lines of tents. To a bear or a wolf, a sleeping human doesn't register as a meal. It registers as a dangerous, unexplainable anomaly that is best avoided. But there is a much darker, historical reason why the wild gives us such a massive clearance. The animals alive today aren't just confused by us, they are deeply, genetically traumatized by us. Humans have been systematically hunting, trapping, and killing apex predators for hundreds of thousands of years. Long before we invented written language, built cities, or forged metal, our ancestors were tracking down cave lions, dire wolves, and massive cave bears with nothing but fire, sharpened wood, and pure coordination. We are the apex predator of apex predators. We have driven entire lineages of massive carnivores completely to extinction simply because they got too close to our camps. Generation after generation, The predators that survived were the ones that possessed a hyperreactive, almost superstitious fear of humans. The ones that viewed a human camp as a zone of immediate, agonizing death passed those cautious genes down to their offspring. A sleeping deer is just a deer, but a sleeping human is a representative of the most lethal, unpredictable, and vengeful species to ever walk the earth. The wild has learned, through millennia of bloodshed, that even an unconscious human might have a hidden weapon or an entire tribe waiting in the shadows to retaliate. Of course, wildlife attacks still happen. People are mauled by bears and hunted by mountain lions every year, but if you look closely at the data, a fascinating pattern emerges. Almost none of these rare attacks happen while a human is peacefully sleeping. When predators do strike, it is almost always driven by a total breakdown of natural conditions. The first cause is food conditioning. When an animal learns to associate human campsites with poorly stored garbage or coolers, it stops seeing humans as a biological threat and starts seeing them as a barrier to an easy meal. This is opportunistic behavior that breaks down the normal fear response. As the old park ranger saying goes, a fed bear is a dead bear, because once that fear boundary is crossed, the animal becomes too dangerous to exist. The second cause is pure, dying desperation. A starving, old, or severely injured predator, one that is unable to hunt its normal, fast prey, will override its natural instincts out of absolute necessity. A famous historical example of this occurred in 1898 with the legendary man-eaters of Tsavo. 2 lions in Kenya systematically hunted and killed dozens of railway workers over several months, terrorizing an entire British industrial project. When the lions were finally shot and examined by scientists, researchers found they suffered from severe dental disease and jaw infections. They weren't hunting humans because they suddenly realized we were easy prey. They were hunting humans because their teeth were too broken to bite into the tough hide of a buffalo or a zebra. The third cause is a simple breakdown of space: surprise. A hiker who accidentally corners a grizzly bear on a blind turn, or a photographer who stumbles between a mother cougar and her cubs, will trigger an immediate, violent defensive reflex. The animal isn't hunting for food. It is fighting for its life against a perceived invasion. Notice what is completely missing from this entire list: a healthy, wild predator calmly tracking, selecting, and executing a sleeping human for food. It effectively does not happen. The National Park Service tracks millions of campers sleeping under the stars in high-density predator territory every single year. Statistically, the number of predatory attacks on sleeping campers across all recorded history is practically zero. You are significantly more likely to be struck by lightning inside a national park, or to get into a fatal car accident driving to the trailhead, than to be eaten in your sleep by a wild animal. There is a profound psychological irony sitting underneath this biological reality. We spend so much of our lives being terrified of the dark. When we lie inside a tent and hear a branch snap in the woods outside, our hearts race, our adrenaline spikes, and we feel completely helpless. We look out into the pitch-black forest and feel like vulnerable prey. But the creature moving through the trees looks back at your tent with a completely different perspective. The wolf circling your campfire isn't trying to decide if you taste good. It is staring at the strange outline of your shelter, smelling your synthetic clothing, hearing your calm, steady breathing, and calculating the immense biological risk of getting anywhere near you. It remembers the ancient lesson passed down through thousands of generations of its ancestors. The wilderness isn't hunting you, it is actively avoiding you. When you close your eyes in the dark, you aren't defenseless. You are protected by a 300,000-year-old reputation of human dominance. You can rest easy. To the rest of the planet, you are not prey. You are the danger. This is Psyche Origin. If this video changed the way you look at human survival and the natural world, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment below. Have you ever heard something circling your tent in the dead of night? How did you react? Thank you for watching.